Hello, folks. Why MBA? Why should anyone do an MBA? And very, very interesting question. And the guy said, look, why should anyone do an MBA? I had to search long and deep to see whether we could come up with a compelling answer. And I'm not looking to answer the question, why MBA for an interview. I'm saying, why does anyone need to do an MBA? Very interesting idea, very interesting notion. Why should anyone do an MBA? And so I'm going to deal with the obvious answers. The clearly tangible, measurable points. Then go to the less obvious part. The clearly tangible, measurable part is you give your career a leg up. You get paid more. Hopefully, there is an ROI payoff to doing an MBA from a good college. And suppose you're hypothetically you're a candidate who's getting paid 5-6 lakhs per annum. You have about a year and a half, 2 years experience. You do an MBA from college rank 20. Chances are you'll land a job which is 20-22 lakhs per annum, and then be on that trajectory from there on. Your ceiling for what is the maximum you can get paid goes up. Your scope for the industries you can work in expands. Your role becomes layered, more options available, higher peak and a higher salary. And so unless you're already sitting in a 35 lakh per annum job, typically doing an MBA from a good college gives you a direct leg up your career pace. That's a very important factor, very crucial factor, and something that you need to do your calculation over. What am I getting paid now? What is the likelihood that I'll get above median pay? What is the median pay in these colleges? I'm getting paid 8 lakhs per annum. I'm getting admitted into a college where the median pay is 18 lakhs per annum. 2 years from now, I might be sitting at 11. That 18 might go to 21. I can repay my loan in 2 years' time. Is it meaningful over a long term? Yes, indeed it is. Jump in. Lots of times you have to keep in mind that the ROI thing is not something that you'll hit jackpot over a 2-year, 3-year thing. It's over a 20-year, 30-year career, and it does make sense for you to go there. And so that's a tangible payoff. How much does it cost? How much more can I get paid? When will I repay my loan? Does it make sense? Put numbers into a pot, into a box, on a sheet of paper. Think about it, process it. Is it meaningful? Right? The value of an MBA doesn't stop with that. MBA gives you career options. Suppose you're in a tech job and you realize that you're not going to do tech all your life. Then you can shift from a tech role to a business role. You can go into commerce. You can go into a banking sector role. You can go into a marketing role. So it opens up options for you, and that is very important. And in this world that we are there, the churn is very high. The uncertainty is very high, and lots of times, what seems like a juicy option now completely disappears over a 3-year horizon. So the Internet of Things. And it's like a buzzword 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Now nobody talks about it. There is every chance that can happen for any field, any sector, which means that we should look for deep understanding, no doubt about it, but we should also have our options open and know other things to do. So MBA gives you that option. And so from being in a product role or a technical role or a delivery role, you can make the transition to a business role or a commercial role where you make sense of money. How is money being made? And so that is very important, very crucial. So for that element, an MBA adds value to you. MBA can be useful for a career switch. I'm in a role in a company, in a banking role, in a finance role, in a finance company, but in a marketing role. I'm running around all the time talking to people about credit cards. There is no natural career trajectory from here for me to any place that I want to be in. If I'm in the finance company, I want to be in the finance role. If I'm in the marketing company, I want to be in the branding role. I'm in between two places. This is going nowhere. An MBA can give you a shift. You can go to the front end role in a finance or a crucial role in a branding marketing company. It gives you those options. So anyone who's looking for a career switch, it's super. Anyone who's looking for a role switch, it's super. Anyone who's looking for expanded scope, it is super. It is wonderful. The ROI number is one element of it. There's so many things to play with. Second thing, and this I've noticed is very, very important for a lot of people. An MBA from a good college gives you a brand to associate with yourself. And for a long time, I downplayed the role of this role of the brand. Then I realized I was weirdly not connecting with the people who were looking for the brand. I got lucky very early in my life. So I finished my class 12 and I went into IIT Madras. Straight after IIT Madras, I went into IIM Bangalore. And I have a lot of respect for the branch IIT Madras and IIM Bangalore. But very honestly, I've not looked at this branch or those buildings or those alumni from the outside. I'm not. So I've been part of that. I didn't have time to process anything, and I was in IIT Madras. By the time I was 17 and a half, I was in college. By the time I was 21 and a half, I didn't know what an MBA was. I was in IIM Bangalore. So I sometimes, at least used to, underestimate the role a powerful brand plays in the psyche of a student, peers, and organizations. And it does play a role. It does play a role. I've come to accept it. I've come to appreciate how much it plays in people's hands. Lots and lots and lots of my students have a sense of regret over where they did their undergraduation from. They might have graduated from pretty decent college, but they somehow have this feeling that the tier 1 college nahi hai, tier 2 nahi hai. This is tier 3 in my field, or this is a tier 2 college but in my field, which is not like a really coveted field. So if I want to be known as Ramesh or Gupta who brings something to the table, then that has to come from the intangible power attached to, hey, he's from IIM Trichy, he's from IIM Calcutta, he's from FMS Delhi. So there's something to that. So there is a brand thing that plays a psychological role in confidence building in the aspirant, in the student. This is something that I had underestimated for a while. It does play a role. It is significant. It is not something that I can say, look, yeah, it doesn't matter. You do good work. How does it matter where you come from? It's all good to say, because I don't want people to have a hang up over which college anyone has studied over, or have an enormous kick over, I am from IIM Bangalore. Both of those are wrong, but it is undeniable that psychologically it plays a role, having that brand. It plays a role with your peer group. It plays a role in the corporate sector. It plays a role in the marriage market. And so in the dating scene in the marriage market. And so I'm too old to talk about that in depth. I'll leave it out there and make your inferences, for you to make your inferences. But the money payoff is one. The career scope, width, breadth, that is one. The psychological impact of a brand behind you is one. The social and professional impact of a brand behind you is one. So these are rather important points. The first one or two are obvious, everybody knows them. And then the third or fourth are layered and they're significant. They're not to be glossed over. And there's one more beyond it, which was a particularly important thing for me specifically. My entire career skill set about how to evaluate companies, evaluate assets, understand businesses, got honed in my 2 years in campus. And I was a geek. I was a very happy mathy guy. I was not even a good engineer, but I was very comfortable in numbers and quant and logical thinking and puzzle solving, and I could tussle with completely unrelated to life, mathematical and logical and verbal thought experiments and puzzles effortlessly. But I knew nothing beyond that when I graduated from engineering. And nothing at all. I knew nothing about the real world, business world, management world, about engineering, about hot sectors, about interesting careers. None of that. IIM was like a finishing school for me. I got to interact with a bunch of people. Some of them were but lots of them were good guys, wonderful peers. We spent long hours battling with ideas and fundas about how companies should be built and shaped. A lot of times when in my career as a banker, when I had to value assets for a living, my honing of my hard skills in accounting and finance was something that I could take for granted. I'm an engineer. I had done zero accounts and zero economics till I joined MBA. Right? And straight after my MBA, within 6 months, I was in a job where I had to build models where P&L, balance sheet, cash flow had to be there, and I had to value assets and say, okay, this stock is overpriced, this stock is underpriced. There are multiple elements to it, but the punching numbers together and putting it together, that got to be taken for granted. And because campus adds that skill, that confidence. And more than that, more importantly than that, I had a certain ability to think about businesses as ventures that need to make money, that need to create value, that need to have a notion of how much they are worth, and that need to promote themselves as an entity and play a role in society. And that kind of thinking about an asset or a brand or a venture simply wasn't there. So if I went and watched an IPL match, I would watch an IPL match. Back then there was no IPL matches. Maybe I'm giving you the wrong reference. Right? So if I watched a football club match, I would think about a football club match. If I went to a movie hall, I was just going and enjoying the movie experience. I did not think at this price does this cinema hall make money. If they provide the food at this quality and this price point, is it reflecting well on the brand? With this kind of machinery, is this business sustainable for these guys? Does that restaurant make money? With these footfalls and these peak hours, are they profitable? None of those thought processes ever occurred to me. If you're fascinated by the idea of business, then it is important that those occur to you, that you hang out with people who also like kind of grappling with those questions, and you learn from them and you thrash things out. More than that, lots of careers are now becoming entrepreneurial. And so it is very important to be able to not just say, this is my role, this is my company. You've got to say, this is my role, this is my company, this is what the company does. It is meaningful, it is sustainable, it is profitable. Therefore, I'll continue to have a job. It is a good option for me to go towards. I find so many people jumping at jobs in companies that are at complete dead ends and run by complete villains. And so the people who are running some of the companies are I don't think they have the clarity required to run some of the entities that they are running, that they have stumbled into. But two, sometimes I think they are nasty. So, but looking at from organizations from outside, sometimes we simply don't process ideas about, okay, is this meaningful, is it sustainable, is it profitable, is it a viable commercial enterprise, is it a place where that is actually adding value to the economic system and the social system. These things are important to me. Can I find my feet in here like that? I think we don't think about that because we don't have the toolkit to think about it. In a lot of ways, my MBA for me was about this, about making sense of the economic world around us, being able to think of companies as branch entities, something that add value into a system, into an ecosystem. Is it meaningful? Is it good? Is it sustainable? Are they playing a role? You ask yourself those questions and take career decisions, professional decisions, geographic decisions, location decisions, all of them by keeping these metrics and ideas in mind. And so it is that intangible element of, okay, now I know how the economic world around me operates. Now I know how wealth is created. Now I know how to manage finances. Now I know how to make professional career choices. Now I know how to build a team where their ideas are, their professional ambitions are also satisfied and the company is also happy with them. So those ideas, which are all intangible but crucial elements in having a sustainable, beautiful long-term career. I had zero of it when I started my MBA. I had a 30 out of 100 when I finished my MBA. My career ended under 25-30. I'm utterly incomplete in many of those elements. I'm still trying to learn, but the fundamental blocks of, hey, what might this be, got placed in my system during my 2-year stint. I'm thankful for that. Back then I had no appreciation of it. I used to sit in those classes of human resource management and kya guff hai yaar, ye bakwas hai. You how to value an asset. The asset is valued at 130 crores. Who cares whether the people are really happy? Who's going to be really happy? Get out of here. I don't want to handle this paper. I was a classic geek who didn't like organizational structure and design, human resource management, how an appraisal cycle can be a double-edged sword for the organization and for people. None of that. I had limited to zero appreciation for the softer elements of running an organization. Right? But the building blocks of what I was to learn later on were placed inside my system in those 2 years. I think some elements of rounding off our commercial understanding of what kind of role we play in society and how our company plays in the economic system are important. They are becoming more and more crucial, and that gets formed in your MBA. I think several Indian employees, resources, do not have a clear enough and do not even have a vague understanding of the economics of businesses. Anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur, the best place to learn how to be an entrepreneur is to be an entrepreneur. Second best is to do a good MBA. So if the best one is not available, second best is a very good option. Best wishes for academy.